everyone. Welcome back to Learn a New Skill with EQLC. Today we are diving into something perfect for this time of year, gardening for beginners. Today is April the 8th in Gaspé, although it does not look like it at all. I promise it's coming. Today I'm heading to visit a local gardening expert. She is a teacher at the Cégep de la Gaspésie et des Îles. She also runs her own business with her husband. Her business is called Les Jardins du Forillon. Her name is Stephanie Arnois. If you are in Gaspé and in the summertime and you've gone to the marché at the Berceau or the farmer's market on Saturdays, you would find her there with her husband. They have the most amazing selection of delicious vegetables. She has beautiful flowers. She makes relish, pickles. Everything is absolutely delicious. And so we are going to see her today. She's going to walk us through how to get started with seedlings, what to plant, how to take care of them. And if you've ever wanted to try gardening but didn't know where to begin, this video is for you. So let's go and see Stephanie, and she's going to show us all of her tricks today. See you soon. Stephanie.
Hi, good morning, Leslie.
It's so nice that you agreed to help us out with our gardening video.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
As I mentioned before, you didn't see that part. I said I was going to see a gardening expert.
Oh, no pressure.
So I'm no pressure. I still think you are. So the first question I have for you is, why did you start gardening, and where did you get the inspiration, and how did you learn, like on your own, or did someone show you?
Well, I do not come from a gardening family. I do not come from an agriculture or farming environment, not at all. Why did this come to mind? I think it's just like raising our family, and first of all, having our own family garden behind the house. And we were really enthusiastic about this, and so much so that we said we have to make this happen outside of the family. We have to share this with people, and it just came like to be something bigger than us, something vital that we had to feed other families in the Gaspé area. So not having the proper property to do that, to farm, I went and knocked on different doors here around the neighborhood, and one of our friends, Isabelle Turbid, she said, yeah, sure, I'll be willing and able to lend you part of my land so you can farm. And we've been doing so ever since. So this is our 7th year running Les Jardins Forillon.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. So today we are just going to do a beginner video for our Facebook community. So so I told them before that you were going to show us some tricks and how to start, because I do have a little garden at home, but it's kind of a year by year, like I'll try this and oops, it doesn't work. But I think the main thing, and you had mentioned that the soil, how important, you're going to start with the proper soil. What should we look for that is in the soil, that, and probably that's why my beets never grow and my carrots are tiny and all these things. So if you want to just start with letting us know the very beginning, where do we start?
Well, you see, when you talk about soils, we have to, first of all, make a difference in between the soil in which you're going to seed your seedlings. I mean, if you're talking about carrots and beets, you're not going to seed them in a pot necessarily before bringing them outside. So if you really want to have an idea of how your soil is around your house, you need to have that, like bring a patch of soil to a laboratory, and then you can make an analysis about it. But that's not too costly, but if you really want to know like what your soil is missing, I would say that would be the way to go. It costs maybe something like $60 or so to have your soil analyzed, which is not too bad, not so much. And it'll give you an idea if you need potassium, if you need, there's need for more organic matter, or so on and so forth. When we're talking about seedlings, like we're going to put them in little pots and then we're going to bring them outside. Well, this is what you're going to buy maybe at your best gardening shop. It could be anywhere in Gaspé or outside of Gaspé if you're not from here. And what you need to look into to make sure is to have something that is fluffy. There's a lot of peat moss in this one here. There's perlite, which are these little white things here.
Those little white balls that I
Yeah,
never knew what
those
they
little-
were. Perlite, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
perlite or vermiculite, and
Okay.
this enables the soil to have a certain humidity when you water. So
Okay.
it's supposed to help you not water as much as you need. So it gives you a little bit of this fluffiness, and there's also inside of this a certain part of organic material and even a little bit of mushrooms. So this helps for developing the roots. All right, so if you're buying earth, I would advise you to buy, if you can, some organic earth. So, the better the earth and the seeds you're working with, well, then the healthier the food you'll be growing. If there's no organic material, well, then you could buy some. I mean, you can buy some and add it if you want. But this is already pre-mixed. There's everything I need. And as my seedlings grow, I will add also, for example, chicken manure that you can find in little granules that I put inside. But they have to be a certain size before I put a few of those inside. I just want to show you something that is important in reading your packs, all right? Because you want to make sure that you're buying something, first of all, you want to grow something you're going to be eating.
Yes, exactly.
Right? You don't grow something that you don't eat.
Like radishes. They always come up and I throw them out.
I grow radishes. I'm not fond of them myself, but a lot of people are. So yes, when you do market gardening, maybe something else. But first of all, grow something you like. Exactly. All right. But you may want to challenge yourself also. If you're not in the first year of gardening, you say, I want to try something, try it. I mean, the worst thing is going to happen is not going to grow.
Exactly.
I mean, buying a pack of seeds is not that costly.
No, exactly.
So do so. So maybe I should take a
Do you have a specific company? Like I know there's Mackenzie's, there's so many different, like do you have one that you prefer?
I have many.
Oh, okay. So not particularly.
Not particularly. I often buy from William Dan Seeds, which is an Ontario-based company.
Okay.
There's also OCS Seeds from Ontario. There's one home grower here from Gaspé.
Oh.
That is Semence du Nouveau Monde.
I never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, so
awesome.
you want to check into that.
Okay.
Louis Vallée. He has a website, and I often buy my tomatoes from him, but he has a whole bunch of seeds to offer. And just make sure that you buy seeds that are adapted for your climate.
Exactly. Which and where? Because I know there's numbers, right? I always forget where we are.
Depending on where we are, we can go from 4A to 4B.
Okay.
But once again, it depends if you have a greenhouse or not.
Exactly.
So when you buy a pack of seeds, like for example, here I have some summer squash, and what's important elements to look at are the optimum germination, how many you have in your pack, and when it was tested for.
Okay.
All right.
The
germination, when it says 97%, what does that mean? Is that almost 10 out of 10 seeds that I'm going to sow are going to grow.
Oh, okay.
So the higher the percentage of seedlings that are actually going to grow. If I have a 60%, that means like 6 out of 10 are going to grow. Okay. If I have a 40%, 4 out of 10. If I have 97, well, that's 9.7 out of 10 that are going to grow. So knowing this, if you have a plan, you say, I want 10 tomato plants, but my percentage is 80. That means 8 out of 10 seeds are going to potentially grow. So I'm going to grow a little more to make sure that I'm going to have your 10.
Oh, okay.
Plus, if you're really a beginner or you're not too sure of what you're doing, which would be okay.
Yes.
Well, you want to maybe add a 10% more to make sure that you're going to have the quantities of plants that you want.
Okay. If it says like 60%, does that mean like the seeds aren't that great? Like why does it work that way? Or
well,
why?
Because some seedlings are just more difficult to sow and have, they're just harder to grow.
Okay, so it doesn't mean like one company is better than the other. No. Okay,
it has nothing to do with
that.
Okay,
that's what I was.
You may have your favorites.
Yes, of course.
You may have your favorites, but this does not mean that they're not of quality.
It just okay, perfect. That's
and
good.
The same thing will be if you have packs that are from years back.
Okay.
If you have a pack of seeds from 2023, we are in 2026. If you have that 80%, well, as your seeds grow older, and depending on how you have preserved them, well, that also will have an impact on the possibility of the seeds to germ or not. And you have the number of seeds. So does this suit your need or not?
Okay.
And lastly, tested for. So this pack is tested for 2026. So everything that's written here is good for 2026.
Okay.
Other important element, but these are not always on all the packs, but if you can have something like this is really, really helpful. So it will tell you in what type of soil it should grow, how many weeks you should start indoors before you bring them outside, how many days it's supposed to take to germinate, at what temperature, and what space to transplant it once you're outside, and if ever there's pests control that you need to deal with. But definitely for starting indoors, this company, for example, is in Ontario, so it's not necessarily the same thing, the same climate in Ontario as it is here in Gaspé. We do not have as a long summer as they do. So my 4 weeks is not the same 4 weeks as in Ontario. They might start bringing their zucchini plants outside at the end of May. I'm not going to do that before mid-June. So that means that I'm going to sow my zucchini plants beginning or mid-May. I may sow them, if I'm sowing them in beginning of May, that's maybe because I have a greenhouse in which I'm going to be able to put them in.
Transferent.
So I'm sure, they'll have a certain heat. I'll be able to put a row cover over them if they're announcing a cooler weather, because you can actually kill your plants if you bring them outside too quickly. So you do not want that to happen if you spent 6, 8, 10 weeks for some of these seedlings, taking care of them, making sure everything's okay, and then you bring them outside, and after one night, everything has died. I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna exactly.
I don't want to do that.
What absolutely has to be started before taken outside in the Gaspé area, and what can be planted directly outside, and when? That doesn't need to have seedlings first. Like, what do you recommend depending on what we eat? What do you prefer? What do you think?
Well, everything that you can sow outside without necessarily starting inside, I would say, are carrots, beets, even zucchini. You can start outside. I've tried both, and sometimes they get to having fruit at the same time. So you could even squash or zucchini. Peas and beans are good. Arugula, if you like that. Certain types of lettuce, I would start outside.
And the end of June, right? Or depending, like you check when the last frost is, you mentioned?
Yes, but like spinach, for example, is a little tolerant to frost. So as soon as the earth can be, you can work with the earth, and it's not too damp and not too cold, because that's the other thing. You want to make sure that the earth has a certain temperature outside, that it's not just 5 degrees, because nothing's gonna pop out. Even leeks, have a certain tolerance to frost, but that you want to start inside.
That's it.
So carrots, beets, and everything we've said. I would do that outside. We start that outside.
Perfect.
What you really need to start inside.
That's the important.
If you're working with onions, like bunching onions, you want to start inside. You have seeds, onions, leeks. I do a lot of flowers, so there's certain varieties of flowers that I do inside. But I will also start, because we do have a greenhouse. I start some of my lettuce inside. I start some of my cilantro, basil. So a lot of fine herbs. I would start inside. To give them a better chance. Even if you're just going to grow them in a small pot on your balcony afterwards, start them inside. I would do that. Tomatoes, cucumbers, inside, outside. If you like, I'm trying artichokes, so artichokes are inside.
We have special lights here, you said, right?
Because you need a special spectrum to imitate sunlight.
And that you can just read on Amazon or something. It'll say that it's for plants or things like that.
Exactly.
So this I see celery.
Yeah, that's celery.
Starting.
Yeah, that's starting. I've started, well, everything that's peppers.
Oh, okay.
Like either sweet peppers or hot peppers. They need to be started inside. And they need to be a certain, like a certain growth to be sure that they'll survive during the summer.
Okay.
Everything that needs heat, especially if you're growing outside, like tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, you should start inside also. Because all of that needs a lot of heat. So if you want to make sure that they have a good start, you start inside.
You should start with them. These are onions as well.
Ground cherries, I've started inside. I have a little bit of cilantro here. Usually in the Gaspé area, we're talking about anywhere in, around 21st to the 24th of June.
Okay.
But we know that it's rarely frost up until there. So
exactly.
I give myself like an early 2 weeks.
Okay.
But something delicate, like if I had started my beans inside, I would not necessarily bring them outside to be sure. You have to read the weather. You have to really read the weather. So it's not only a question of when I'm going to bring them, like the perfect date, but what is the weather pattern after I have sown outside. Like after I've brought my plants outside and that they've spent a little bit of time outside, because you can't take something from inside and bring it outside and put it in your garden. Eventually here, like inside, I'm going to put a fan. So they get used to a little bit of the wind. We know that we have a lot of wind here in Gaspé.
Okay.
So let's say that these were ready. They're really not ready, but let's say they were ready. Cayenne and jalapeno. So I would take my tray with my plants and I first put them outside for 4 to 6 hours.
Oh,
a day in the shade.
In the shade.
In the shade. And gradually, it takes about a week to a week and a half that you get them used to being in what is going to be their natural environment. Okay. So, and at the last 2 or 3 days, they spend 24 hours outside. Okay. All right. So you start 4 to 6 hours in the shade. Then you gradually 1 or 2 days after, 2 days after, a whole day outside. Then you put them in part shade, part sun, and then you put them in the sun.
Oh, so it's very gradual.
Then in the sun, and eventually just leave them there for 2 days.
Okay.
Up until you're ready to really sow them plant them in your garden.
Wow. Okay. See, this is why she's the expert, people.
As you bring them outside and as you put them in the sunlight, well, then you have to make sure that everything is really well watered also, because they'll be drinking more than if they're in the shade. So you really have to.
You have to, and like that's it's written on the pack too, right? How much water? Because I know some people say don't overwater this, and
well, that can be another problem, overwatering. So the best test is with your finger. Like when you put your finger in the soil and you bring it out a little bit, like when you cook a cake or something. Yes. You want to make sure that you put a fork or whatever, and you want if you have the batter around it, well, it's not ready. Exactly. Well, it's the same thing. If you put your finger and you bring it out and there's some earth around your finger, well, you don't need to water.
Even if it's dry on top, you don't need to water. You check.
That's why you need to check.
How far down do you have to go?
Well,
normally, like an inch kind of thing.
Well, it depends on the container.
Okay.
With which you're dealing with. Like definitely here, like I water every day. Okay. And this is definitely still,
it's dry through.
It's still dry, but it's small. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The smaller it is, well, the more you're going to water it.
Okay.
Right? It's like growing tomatoes. If you're growing tomatoes in your garden versus growing tomatoes in a larger pot, you're going to water that much more often than if you were able to mulch your tomato plant in your garden. For my bunching onions, I'm going to be using actually this styrofoam container. Okay. I'm not going to, what's important is for the water to be able to flow. Yes. But in this particular container, the water, I'm not going to water them enough right now So there's not going to be a problem of overwatering or getting the earth too damp.
Okay.
And as they grow, actually water comes through the styrofoam.
I was just going to ask why
Yeah.
styrofoam. Okay, so that's an advantage. Okay.
And also because of the height, depending on what you're going to be sowing,
Okay.
leeks and onions, they have a very like long stem and a smaller fruit.
Okay.
So to make sure that I need to have that height and make sure that my bulb, like, I don't know, the bunching onions have enough space to start to grow, but also I have enough height for the stem to grow. But you see, like these containers here, like this had strawberries in it. Well,
yeah.
There's already holes. So this can be perfect to start, whatever seeds you need.
Perfect.
Other containers such as, well, mushrooms. This does not have any holes, but you can clearly, just with a scissor or a knife.
Yeah, just add a few to make.
Just add a few. Same thing with this, or I don't know, a yogurt container or so on and so forth.
Perfect. Okay.
Or if you sometimes you buy plants and you come up with these here.
Yes,
well,
yeah.
You may want to keep them because this can be really handy.
I see a lot of people using egg cartons. I don't know which seedlings are best for egg, because that's also kind of, I guess it soaks up the water.
It soaks up the water, and also the other thing is that you just take the egg carton and you put it in the soil.
That's it. Like you don't have to take anything out. What is small enough, or what vegetables are small enough that are good for egg cartons?
It depends. I would say when you're going to bring it outside and when you've sown it, because you could do basil, you could do fine herbs, and take that and put that outside. I've used something like that here.
You can, because you can get them like that, or
exactly.
But that's the same as eggs.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So this is foxglove. This is a type of flower. I have eucalyptus also. So I would use them if it's written on your pack, or that the vegetable or the flower you're growing is a little bit sensitive for the root wise.
Yes.
Some of the roots do not like to be displaced. If that's the case, you may want to use this. So you just have to break them up, or take the egg carton and just put it in.
And just put it in the ground.
You have not disturbed your roots at all.
Perfect. Okay. How did you learn all of this stuff? Like, was it online or people or a bit of everything? Books?
A lot of books.
Trial and error, of course.
Trial and error for sure. But yes, a lot of books, a lot of on my own, a lot of webinars where I've learned online.
Oh.
And I've also taken courses online with Victoriaville College, which they're renowned for organic growing methods, and they do have a program there, and you can take courses online. So I have the equivalent of a professional diploma, more or
that's
less.
awesome. Okay, great.
But we also have really good friends who have been doing market gardening for over 20 years. Some that are down the coast, dans la baie des Chaleurs, and La Cigale et la Fourmi, which is the company name. We also have friends in the Saguenay area, les Jardins de Sophie.
Awesome. Okay.
So they also help us out when we have questions.
That's wonderful.
If you have your earth, you want to make sure that it is damp, but actually that there's no water running from your hands either. You don't want to have a stream. If you can, wet it with warm water.
Warm water.
Yeah,
okay.
Seeds are like babies, right? So they need to be well taken care of. And I would even say, like my seedlings, I also water them with warm water.
That's good to know as well.
So it helps them out.
Okay.
So you want to be nice and tender and gentle with them until they go into the real world and have rain,
exactly.
Cold rain. So I'm just going to water this here. And you can see the perlite here. Alright. So this is quite deep, so I'm going to just mix.
I like your technique.
you see, I can hear the
Yeah,
water.
I can hear
but-
this. Yeah,
So it's
but it's
you
not
know,
running.
exactly, and it's it's holding itself a little bit.
Perfect.
You see,
Okay.
so this is what you want. Say you want to do tomatoes. On my packs, what I do, I separate my packs when I have all my seeds. I separate them,
Okay.
and I do packs of 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
Oh, okay. That
So
makes
I
sense.
know exactly, and I have my little calendar on Excel, and then I know like what I'm going to do when. The thing is, we get super excited, and we're like, oh my God, I'm going to do everything now.
Yes,
So
exactly.
when you do that, then you have tomato plants that are this high.
And they can't, yes.
And sometimes they fall, and then you have to, they start in this container, but then you have to transplant them in bigger and bigger containers, and that's a lot of work.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
I want to limit that as much as possible, which is important to stick by your calendar. And if it says, if you say to yourself, well, I'll be able to sow, this transplant this outside on the 10th of June, and it's written that I need to sow it inside 8 weeks before, well, calculate that, because otherwise you'll just be transplanting all the time.
Okay, so really
That's a lot of
the
work.
calendar is important. Okay.
The calendar is important, but I just want to show maybe different seed sizes.
Yeah, sure.
So we have an idea on what type of container we should use. So we don't get into that, I have to transplant
Exactly. Okay.
every 2 or 3 weeks. So if I open up, for example, a summer squash,
Okay.
all right, so medium size.
Okay.
Some are, some are bigger than that. And if I take, these are tomatoes,
Oh, okay.
all right. These are
okay.
bunching green onions.
Oh, perfect. Okay. These tiny little things. Still not as small as carrots, though.
No, still not as
Jeez,
small as
carrots.
carrots. Yeah, carrots are hard. Carrots are hard to do. So,
There's just now I just buy those strips.
oh, do
You know?
you? Yeah.
But are they good? Some people say that they're not that great, and we should just stick with the one seed at a time method. Or
Well, I've never done carrots with strips because I have to sow thousands of them. So
Oh, okay,
I wouldn't have the strips.
okay.
But the things with carrots is that what I would do, like you can do like one seed from one seed, but what I just do is that if I have the area where I'm going to sow my carrots, I'm just going to take a bunch of them and I'm just going to let them go like this, right?
Okay.
So of course they're going to be very close to one another, but as soon as they grow, I'm going to pinch them. I'm going to take some out.
Yes, that's what
making
I didn't do.
sure-
Exactly.
Making sure that I have, the space indicated anywhere in between 1.5 to 2 inches, maybe in between carrots.
Okay.
So that's what you need to do. If you have that time and you have that patience, go for it. Like
One at a time,
one
yeah.
at a time. But otherwise,
Just sprinkle and
just sprinkle them, and then you'll be able to pinch them.
pinch them later.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you pinch them a little late, well, what you can do, if you want to, is that those are edible.
Yeah, they're just
You're at
Tiny.
they're tiny, but I mean, you can put that in a salad. Of course, take off the root there, but those little seedlings, yeah, you can put them in a salad. You can add that to a stir fry. You can put that in an omelet. Add that in a soup.
exactly. So they're
So
still
they're
yeah.
edible.
You're good. Perfect.
Exactly. So if I'm doing bunching onions, so I need to have, as I said, a certain height. So I'm going to use either one of these. Let's say I take this just because it's a smaller container.
Okay.
I could actually keep this, and it makes like a little greenhouse
Yeah.
itself.
Okay.
But of course, as they grow, you have to take it off. So let's
Okay.
say let's say I keep it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add earth here. Not too much because I need some space. I'm going to toss it. And then, ideally, if I have the same type of container, I'm going to come and push on it
Okay.
so it's firm.
Oh, it has to be firm. Okay.
It has to be firm. Why?
Yeah.
Because you want your seed to actually stick to the soil.
Okay.
Why you need this? Well, so the seed can open itself up and do its roots. If there's too much air around the seeds, it's going to have a little bit of trouble to sink in the earth and build itself
Oh, okay.
a root system. So you don't want to make a brick.
Okay. Yes.
But you still want it to be firm.
Perfect.
Right?
Okay.
And since these are bunching onions, there are different ways to do so. Some of them will seed 4 or 5 in a single spot. All right.
Perfect.
Or otherwise, and then you can use your finger, but if you're a little bit earth sensitive, what I'm going to do here is that I can build a row. All right, and I'm going to make sure that, and having your earth. So then I have 3 rows here. And I'm always wiping myself.
Oh,
on
of
my
course.
T-shirts, my
You
hands,
have
on my
to.
T-shirts. And at the end of the day, it's only a shower. They'll be able to take all these this
Exactly.
earth. So I can do one by one, but these are bunching onions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few together. I'm just going to put them apart so as they grow,
Okay.
they'll bunch right away. So I take 3 or 4. Now it's hard to see because these are black.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just a question of feeling. Usually I put music. This has to be fun.
Of course,
Right?
yes. Perfect.
And once that's done, well, I just have... Now, this already has perlite in it, so it's helping the soil to stay moist.
Okay.
Other growers, once this is done, only put perlite on it. I'm, for one, that puts a little bit of earth like this. I just cover
Okay.
like this. But just to say that there's always more than one way to do things.
Exactly.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
And that's it.
Perfect.
If I'm starting, let's say, my tomato plants, I could use these, but very quickly I'll have to transplant them and transfer them in something bigger.
Okay.
So I'm going to use this for my tomatoes.
Okay.
So once again, just adding on this here. If I had the same, I would push them. So now, since I do not have the same size containers, I'm just going to do it by hand like this. Like these seeds, if they were fresh, I would definitely put 1 per
Square or
square.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you. But these are from, well, I mean, they're not rotten. They still look really, really nice. I mean, seeds sometimes you can keep for many years. But if I'm not sure of the percentage of germination, sometimes what I will do is that I will put 3 in the same.
And these are tomatoes, right?
And these are tomatoes. Okay. Just because they're at least 3 years old. And I'm going to put 3. And if all 3 grow, well, I take, once they've grown, I just cut the 2 that I don't want and I keep the stem that I like. Otherwise, I would only put 1. Just 1 like that.
If it was a fresh pack
a fresh pack from this year. And then you may want to make sure that they're well. If you do push them a little bit, just to make sure, sometimes they stay on your fingers. So
exactly.
Be careful because you'll take everything out. And once again, I just add a little bit of soil like this. And that's it.
Now, for someone like myself, who doesn't have the lights and just wants to do a bit of gardening,
Yeah.
and don't have a greenhouse, like something like if we're doing this, we can just put them in a warmer room, I guess, in front of the window.
Yeah.
Is that
That I did that for years.
Yes,
I mean, just
okay.
having a few tables in front of the big windows if they're facing south.
Yeah.
Best. But if they're announcing cold in the nighttime and you do not have any curtains to stop the cold air, well, then I would transfer your seedlings away from the window at nighttime.
Perfect. Okay.
Just so there's not too much of a large gap in between temperatures in daytime and nighttime, because it will not enable your plants to grow, but it will slow the germination period. And also what I would do is, let's say this is your window here. And you're facing this way, I would rotate.
Oh, every day? Or
well, you will see as your plants grow, they'll tend
oh
to
yes,
bend
they'll
over
go
to towards the light.
Okay.
So if you want them to have a strong root system, and you don't only want to have one single strong root, and your plant to be well developed, this will help.
Perfect.
Rotating. So yeah, maybe every day or every 2 days.
Okay.
Listen to what your plant is.
Yes, exactly.
Listen to its language.
We're supposed to talk to them, right?
Yeah,
so.
you're supposed to talk to them. And if you don't have anything to to do wind, if you don't have just sometimes go over them like this here really easily, just to give them a little. And sometimes they'll bend. You see, like this one bends. Well, it's stuck to this one here. But
and that's just getting it used to wind, like you say, just because
exactly.
outside. Well, what happens, like if some of them just die off because they can't handle it? Is that what happens?
Well, I think that, that's part of nature.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Some plants or seedlings, even if they're growing, they may not be as strong as the other ones. So I'd say, well, if it doesn't grow here, it's not going to do well outside.
Exactly. Okay,
so,
perfect.
Lastly, if I'm dealing with a larger seed, well, you see me coming, I need maybe a larger container than this here. So
that was what's the butternut squash? No, not butternut. Summer squash.
It's just a summer squash.
Summer squash, okay.
So I could, I find maybe this big, a bit big.
Oh, that's too big too.
Yeah, that's too big too, but I wouldn't have any right now. But
okay.
Something like half this size.
Okay.
So I could maybe plant 2 in this here, but the thing is, if I do that, well, then the roots will tangle, and then if I break it off, they may survive. They probably will survive.
Okay.
But they will be a bit more fragile.
Okay, exactly.
In doing so. So the larger the seed, well, of course, the larger the container. I could do this here in this one, but in 4 weeks from now, I'm going to have to transfer
it to another one.
So if I do not want to do that, might as well put them in a little larger container than this here.
Perfect.
I try not to transplant them more than once.
Exactly. Okay.
Before I bring them outside.
Something
that we haven't done is to identify. Number 2, I would say water well, but do not overwater.
Okay.
That's another mistake that I've done. What happens sometimes is just that your plant starts to grow, but your root rots.
Okay.
And your plant just dies.
Okay. So
right? So if you overwater, especially if you overwater and there's not enough of heat, or it's too humid and cold, well, that will fragilize your plant.
Exactly. Okay.
More. It's making mistakes also that you learn.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You have to try stuff, and I would say another mistake is not having enough confidence in yourself.
That's my problem.
That's it. Go for it. Just try. It can't.
And like you say, there's so much information online. There's books. There's videos like these. Hopefully that I'm sure we're going to help some people today.
It's fun. It's easy, and I mean, there's a lot of literature that talks about how it helps just your daily well-being of taking care of plants and playing in the soil and going outside. It is work. I mean, this is part of the work. When you put this outside, your job is not done.
Exactly.
Your job continues up until it's time to eat the fruit of the vegetable or smell the flowers.
Exactly.
So it's an ongoing process. Make sure, maybe another thing is that people are overwhelmed at one point because they were so enthusiastic at the beginning of the season, and at one point they're just, well, oh, I forgot I'm leaving for 3 weeks during summer. So if you're going away for 3 weeks, well, you have to have someone to tend to your garden for sure.
Exactly.
Otherwise all of that energy will have been wasted.
Exactly.
So there's a little bit of planning, not too much, but you still have to plan. Like, what is the space I have? Maybe start off with 5 essentials, like what I really want to try this year. I'm going to try 5, and what I really want to eat, and just start off with that.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for
you're so
helping us
welcome.
today.
I hope it will be useful and helpful.
I am sure it's going to be very helpful. And we are going to do 2 other videos together. We're going to come back in June when it's time to take some of these seedlings outside, and Stephanie's going to let us know how far away from each other, what not to plant next to what, because they don't like each other, that kind of stuff. And then hopefully again in the fall when it's time to harvest. And I know you have the most beautiful flowers, vegetables. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that you are often at the marché, or the farmer's market. Are you there again this summer?
Yes, we'll be there again this summer. Not necessarily every week, but we put that very clearly on our Facebook page when we'll be there.
Okay, when I post this, I'm going to share the Facebook page. And is there anything else that you'd like them to know about Jardins Forillon, or
if ever you come to Forillon or Capozzo, we also have this little kiosk by the road that you can stop and buy some of our goods.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you in June.
Yes, thank you, Leslie.